Hello, welcome to Forbidden Planet TV. I'm Spurrier, and I'm here to talk to you about my run on The Flash.
Welcome to Forbidden Planet TV. I'm Andrew Sumner. This is Spurrier. How are you, mate?
Very, very good. Yourself?
I'm very well, thank you. Remembering with fondness our recent conversation about The Voice Said Kill, your great new book from Image. But this time around, we're here to talk about one of your mainstream big two books, and in fact, your excellent tenure, much loved tenure on The Flash.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's an interesting to go from a chat about a creator-owned project last time to a chat about a work for hire big two project. That's such a different mental approach involved
Yeah.
in the two things. Somebody said, I think it's been said many times, but the purest difference between them is that with a creator-owned idea, it's something that you start out by loving, and your job is to make everybody else love it. With a work for hire idea, you start out it being something that everybody else already loves, and you have to find the thing about it that makes you love it. Which I suppose that's a nice segue to sort of mention. I think by the time this goes live, it will already be out in the ether. But I'm ending my run on the Flash with issue 25, as a consequence, really, of not falling out of love with it. But I have found with each subsequent arc, the the effort to find something about the character, the IP, the extended cast, which truly thrills me, which feels like it's worth saying because it's something new and it's something deep and it's something true. That process, which was effortless for the first 3 or 4 arcs, has become a little harder each time,
Yeah.
to the extent that I sort of want to quit while I'm ahead. I don't want ever for it to feel like I'm just sort of spinning my wheels. There's this god awful phrase in work for hire circles, which is playing the hits. I think quite a lot of big superhero runs are essentially playing the hits, and I never want to be guilty of that. I just think it's creatively moribund. So yeah, I made the decision that um, to take a few steps back. When I was first invited to pitch on The Flash, my point in so doing was I don't really desperately need this work, but wouldn't it therefore be fun to pitch a version of this story which is so far beyond anything that's ever been done before? Wouldn't it be wonderful to try and prove to all parties that these characters, these venerable, much beloved characters, are capable of being vehicles for so many different types of stories than the ones that they're best known for? That this feels like an opportunity to say, well, I've always sort of felt there's a horror angle you could take here, and what started in the first arc as a kind of cosmic horror story became in the second arc something much more psychedelic and trippy, and then in the third story we went to a sort of boys' own adventure, Hollow Earth, dinosaur family fun adventure. And in the fourth arc, we've gone to um, insane meat grinder trench warfare on the surface of the moon. And I guess the point is, irrespective of whether people have enjoyed them all or haven't enjoyed them all, or enjoyed some and didn't enjoy some, and there's clearly a massive breadth of people of all of those different stripes. The point is, isn't it fucking incredible that this character who's been around for so long, who is best known for running really fast and beating up muggers and saving people, has the capacity to do all of that? And that felt like just scratching the surface. So to an extent, it was like, mission complete. I feel like I've proved my point. Um, Despite what certain creative number crunchers of bad faith online fandoms will tell you, sales numbers have remained extremely healthy throughout.
And I know this because I'm in a vantage point to see how many books you sell.
So we've,
So
we've
yeah,
well, I think it's tough times for comics all over, but I think we have bucked the trend quite neatly. So I don't want to say I'm smug about it. There's definitely a few things that, given my druthers again, I would probably handle differently. But no, I leave with my head held high, feeling feeling pretty good, and it's the right time to go.
Yeah, and outside of the well-established DC Trinity, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, there are two other super iconic characters, and one's Green Lantern, one's the Flash, and
Mhm.
and you're talking about particularly the Flash, a character that sits right through the spine of everything DC have done creatively over the last 80 or so years.
Mm,
And certainly since the 80s and Marv Wolfman and Crisis and all that, the Flash is very much sewed into the fabric of the DC universe. So it must be interesting to be able to play around with that to whatever degree you wish to do so.
yeah, totally. And they've been very brave in letting me take some of my characteristic leaps of strangeness. I think that the sort of the guiding light throughout, the thing that's kept me honest is just to yeah, it's a conversation we sort of touched upon slightly when we were last chatting about the voice they kill. If you can't invest yourself into a character or their world, then the stories you tell about that character are only ever going to be surface deep. It's like skimming a pebble across a stream. You want to get under the surface. You want to really feel what it would be like. And as much as I enjoy the simple dynamic of the sort of superhero Earth, here is a character who has extraordinary power, and a matching virtue of responsibility. That seems to be the sort of the paradigm that people respond to in these archetypes. And yet, we know a lot of the very best stories about these characters are the ones where you say, all right, well, look, Peter Parker's incredibly strong, but he can't get a girlfriend, or whatever it is. And it's when you look under the hood and you recognize that there are human frailties which have nothing to do with being able to run very fast or punch things or teleport or whatever it is. And that's often where the real story lies. And I felt quite quickly with the Flash that the metaphor that is most apt for today's world, and I say this as a burnt out writer who has way too many plates spinning at one time, the metaphor felt like, how do you carry the weight of all these things? I'm a father, I'm a writer, I do 1,000 other things that isn't just under those two umbrellas. I feel like I'm constantly running around so that there's no time to do anything that actually matters. I feel like the value to energy ratio has gone completely to whack as a consequence of just being a grown up in today's world. Imagine if you were a superhero, a role model, a member of a team, a mentor to five or six other members of the same superhero family, but also a dad, a husband, a person with a job, just stretched thin, constantly on the verge of a breakdown. And all you hear in the world is go faster, be stronger, do more of this, be better. And it occurred to me, the real struggle is not can he run fast enough to outpace a bullet or the speed of sound or the speed of light. It's how the fuck is he still upright? How isn't he a gibbering wreck?
Yeah.
And I think you could probably apply the same question to most superheroes. But anyway, in the case of Flash, the the answer is often the sort of the unexpectedly sentimental side of me coming out, which is that it's to do with his love, it's his family, it's the things that really matter to him, that are close to him, that allow him to dedicate so much time and pain and effort to making the world a better place, even though it's full of people who aren't close to him. So I think there's something quite beautiful in that, which I've tried my best to explore, but also just aliens and cosmic ideas and the end of the world and giant gods having babies that turn out to
All
be
that good stuff.
yeah. And that's the other thing, isn't it? Like these characters, they are pluripotent for ideas. You just throw a million ideas at the page and it will stick because these characters are big enough to support the weight of whatever insanity you throw.
Yeah, I agree with that. How have you found your collaborators across your time on The Flash?
They've been incredible, and the beautiful thing about having to work with multiple different artists is that you can pivot from one sort of genre vibe to another. So, Mike in the first arc did grim horror so beautifully, and we've gone from that to the sort of insane trippiness. We've got the present guy Vasco he's done two arcs actually. He's very fast and very, very good, but he's been able to do the kind of adventure style and the war stuff very nicely. And we've had a succession of different artists in annuals and specials along the way. So I wish I could say I write to their strengths, but often in Big Two comics, you write the thing before you know who's actually going to draw it.
Yeah.
But you can definitely tailor it afterwards. So no, it's been really great. It's been nice.
Wonderful, mate. And you're wrapping up on the Flash with issue 25, as you say, available for purchase from the links attached to our conversation, as are some of your collected editions. And the Voice Said Kill is just out now. What else are you working on at the moment, mate?
Oh gosh, lots of things. Most of them things I can't talk about.
As is often the case.
Yeah, no, I'm quite frustrating like that at the moment. Let's see what's been announced. Do you know, I don't think there's anything I can talk about. One thing that has been announced is a book I am doing with Matthias Bergara, my long-term collaborator on Coda and Hellblazer and The Dreaming and Step by Bloody Step. We're doing a book with Distillery called Mischief of Magpies, which is a creator-owned book. Um, Unlike anything you've ever seen, you may recall we did Step by Bloody Step, which
Yeah,
was the
which I
the
loved.
thank you. The idea was to do a intricately plotted, emotionally bittersweet fantasy story that uses no recognizable language. There isn't a single recognizable word in it. Um, it's always a little daft describing it as a silent comic because, of course, all comics are silent. But that's by the by. The point is, we wanted to swing in the other direction. We wanted to say, what can we do with the notion of pure perceived information, so text? How do we organically fit that into something beautiful that doesn't feel like it's too much hard work, doesn't feel like you're being challenged by great big splats of text when all you want to do is read a comic? And that's what a Mischief of Magpies is. It's a portal fantasy about this troubled kid who keeps a diary, and he keeps disappearing out of this world into a totally remarkable fantasy world. And his recollections of those visits in the diary, in beautiful, quite experimental ways, flow and segue into the art in a way that is unlike anything we've ever seen before. So that's very exciting. The reason that I didn't immediately say, "Oh, Mr. Magpies is coming soon," is because as a consequence of some of the ructions in the
Yeah.
broader comics industry, distribution network, particular, a lot of publishers have had to say, "We're just finding our feet with new distributors." Distillery is one of them. They've just put a little pause on production, but we're thinking that'll be around sometime in early 2026.
Excellent. I mean, the distribution catastrophe has been quite the thing to navigate,
Yeah.
as we all know.
Yeah.
But I very much I have no doubt the distillery guys really know what they're doing. They're a good bunch, and I'm sure when your book comes out, I
It's
very much look forward to
very
seeing
worth the
it.
wait. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That
no, unfortunately, there are other things in the hopper over at DC. So other sort of work for hire or semi work for hire projects which will be announced in due course, and then a lot of other creator own stuff that I just can't talk about. But I'm working
I,
very hard.
yeah, I know you are, mate, and hence my question, which is essentially the reassurance for some of your fan base that while you can always be relied on to have your personal projects lined up in future, that Flash 25 isn't the end of your DC work, is it? There's more to come.
There'll be more stuff, and as discussed, like the whole thing, because I'm so busy with four or five different projects at any one time. When a work for hire, usually big two project comes along, it has to be something that I can immediately see the thing about it that I love. And that's not always obvious. I didn't necessarily grow up with these characters in the way a lot of fans did. I didn't sort of come to American comics until I was 18, 19, something like that. So in one respect, that's good because it means I have to interrogate and research and, to go back to our conversation from before about create your own work, really sit with it and sort of really invest and think and try very hard to find the thing that I love. On the other hand, it's a little harder because I don't come into these pitches with a sort of stored up decades of existing love for the character. I would quietly and slightly waspishly posit that if you're a fanboy first and a writer second, the story probably won't be very good, but that's just me.
Well said, mate. Absolutely well said. It's such a delight to see you, Simon, particularly with a virtual microphone or indeed a boom mic in your hand, as opposed to a delicious pint of beer, which is
Yes,
usually the
no,
way.
well, more of that sort of thing too, though. That was a nice
Right
boom.
on. Oh yeah, it'll happen for sure. And Lucifer Sumner, my daughter will kill me if I don't tell you before you finish that Damn Them All is her favourite book of the last 3 years. She absolutely loved it.
That's great to hear. Randomly, I got a text at the pub last night from my colorist on Damn the Wall saying that she had just discovered some flash fic from that book. That's a cherry popped for me. Somebody's making flash fic of my create our own
I
work.
love it. That's fantastic, mate. It's lovely to see you. You take care of yourself, and I will see you sooner rather than later.
And you, mate.
All the best. If you're enjoying watching Forbidden Planet TV and you're enjoying watching us talk to the world's most interesting and accomplished filmmakers, authors, artists, musicians, creators, subscribe right here. See you soon.